Malusis with you right here on the Fan on this Monday morning. Take a break for your phone calls, get back to them a little bit. Let's delve into a little bit more of the Jets' victory over the Bills on Sunday out at MetLife Stadium. Do that with Kristian Dyer. Covers the Jets for Metro New York, contributes to Yahoo Sports, and also check him out on WFAN.com as well. Good morning, Kristian. How are you?
Hey, Marc. I'm doing well. Jets Nation's doing a little better this morning, too.
Yeah, certainly a little bit better, but, they didn't this was a Bills team that was staggering coming into the game on Sunday. Outscored 106-26 in their previous three games, getting destroyed by the likes of Dallas and Miami. It's a win. But it's not one of those dominant victories that maybe you thought the Jets were going to get on Sunday, Kristian.
No, absolutely not. And I think Mark Sanchez said it best after the game when he said, we did everything in our power to gift this game to the Bills. But you know what? At the point of the season that the Jets are at, they needed this win in the worst possible way. They've lost games close. They've gotten blown out in games. They just needed a win to right the ship. And now they've got a little momentum for Week 13 in Washington.
Yeah, they do. I mean, certainly. And let's start with the quarterback, Sanchez. Threw a bad interception early on in this game. But you look at it, 4 touchdown passes, including one in the final minutes to help lead this team to a victory. I think you saw the good and the bad from Sanchez on Sunday.
Well, it sounds like you were reading my column for Monday morning. I called it the Jekyll and Hyde of Sanchez. You had the positive side, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. But you also had the other side that was 17 for 35, started the game off 0 for 4. 3 of their first 4 possessions either ended up in a punt or a turnover. And that's not the Mark Sanchez you expect to see by year 3. It's not the Mark Sanchez that justifies being the number 5 pick in the draft 3 years ago. And I think that's the big issue. He came in with such hopes, such expectations. He had a team built around him that was really a playoff caliber type team. If you remember when he came in 2009, the Jets were 9-7, just missed out on the playoffs. He had a lot of good pieces. He fit in well, played well in the system, limited mistakes his first 2 years. Now this year, when he's supposed to take the next step, he's hyped himself up to take the next step. He's been unable to do it. He's not that superstar player. He's not the franchise. He's not the franchise. And no matter what Rex Ryan said after the game, he's not the stud that the Jets need right now to take them to that next level, because they don't have the other pieces on offense to make it click without Sanchez going on all cylinders.
Well, but listen, you look at it, and we'll get back to Sanchez in just a second, Kristian. You look at what Sean Green was able to do running the football yesterday, 13 carries over, 78 yards. What happened to the ground and pound? What is exactly this Jets' identity on offense? They go away from the run way too easily, I believe. I think Schottenheimer still likes to get too cutesy. How many 3-and-outs did you see against a bad Bills defense yesterday, where they put the defense back on the field? The time of possession disparity between the two teams was really utterly ridiculous for a Bills team that was staggering offensively. You could go on and on as far as the way the Jets game planned against Buffalo on Sunday and how poor it was.
And I was shocked as well, Mark, that they got away from the ground attack as quickly as they did in this past game. When you look at Buffalo, consistently, their drives were very systematic, very methodical, marching down the field. The best way to combat that, if you don't have a high-powered offense, one of those New Orleans Saints or Green Bay offenses, 3 plays, you have a touchdown, is to match that, is to march the ball down the field. Sean Green was averaging 6 yards a carry. Santonio Holmes, they did a couple trick plays to him to the effect 2 carries, 28 yards. Joe McKnight, 4 carries, 21 yards, filling in for Tomlinson. Even John Connor had a few carries and was effective. They got away from that way too quickly. It's something they've been doing all season long. They get down, they panic. Sanchez forces things. But I'm still waiting to see Sanchez step up and make plays. He hasn't been doing that so far. If he can do that, it'll open up things for the ground game.
Well, but listen, I think Sanchez, and it's a matter of the ground game was there on Sunday. It was there. If you gave Sean Green 20 carries, he's well over 115 yards yesterday afternoon.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think the best testament to that is the fact that after the first offensive series, the Fire Shoddy chant started up from the 79,000 at MetLife. It was without a doubt they consistently get away from this game plan. Even if your running back is only getting 3 to 4 yards a carry, which is the type of runner Sean Green traditionally is, that between the tackles kind of guy, ground and pound. Rex Ryan calls him his bell cow, the guy who can consistently get the hard yardage, downhill running. Even if you're only getting that 3 to 4 yards a carry, you're still setting up second and manageable, third and short, which is what Sanchez needs to thrive, because right now his receivers aren't giving him the help, and on the flip side, he's not making the kind of throws that puts the receivers in the position to make plays.
All right, what is Sanchez, Kristian? What do you think Marc Sanchez is going to be?
Well, right now he's a below-average NFL quarterback. Maybe someday he can progress to an average, above-average kind of guy. He's certainly not going to be a Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers type of quarterback, but is he someone who can manage the game, fit into the system, perhaps be a Vinny Testaverde type of quarterback for this team? Absolutely. He seems to certainly have the intangibles that he wins when his team needs him to the most. 4-2 in the playoffs in his first 2 years is nothing to sleep on, but he's just not that dynamic kind of player that really justified the high pick and all the pieces that the Jets gave up to select him. And in this New York market, and let's face it, the way Eli Manning is playing this season, he certainly does not look like an NFL starting quarterback right now.
Marc Malusis here on The Fan on this Monday morning, talking to Kristian Dyer, covers the Jets for Metro New York, contributes to Yahoo Sports, WFAN.com. I mean, I think that's a little strong, Kristian, to say that he doesn't look like an NFL starting quarterback. I mean, I think he is. I mean, I just don't know how good or really, how tough you can be on Sanchez for basically, I don't know exactly what the Jets coaches, what they thought their identity on offense was going to be to start the year. And sometimes week to week, I'm still confused exactly what the Jets want to be on offense.
Well, I thought that they felt that Sanchez was going to progress more. I think they also overestimated their offensive line. This was a line that has given up an awful lot of sacks on Sanchez and also a lot of hits. He's taken a pounding this year. But they felt that the offensive line could establish the run like it had the previous 2 years under Rex Ryan. And it hasn't been able to do that, at least not until the past couple weeks when Sean Green's kind of been able to get on track since week 5, week 6, around there. But in terms of just the identity and where Sanchez needs to be, I still stand by the fact that he's not making plays. He's playing within the system. He has Santonio Holmes, who's a game breaker. He has another one in Plaxico Burress, who's one of the best red zone targets in the NFL. You're expecting him to step up and make those plays, something he consistently hasn't been doing. The one reason why I say that is you watch his game tape, he is without a doubt a one-read quarterback. He locks in on that read. It's his only read. He doesn't go to his check down. And that's most of the times why he gets picked off so often. He locks in, cornerbacks read that, drop into coverage, and then make the play.
All right, Jets right now 6-5. Are the Jets a 6-5 team? They didn't get a lot of help as far as how some of the other outcomes on Sunday. Cincinnati winning, Denver winning. But what do you think the Jets are going to be here moving forward, Kristian?
If you had asked me to put down money in late August, early September, would the Jets be 10-0 or 5-5 heading into their Week 12 game? I would have put down $100 on 10-0 if those were the two choices. It's absolutely shocking, given the amount of individual talent this team has, that they're 6-5 right now. They should easily be in the 7 to 8 win category. They should be challenging the New England Patriots for the AFC East title. But instead, you have 11 individuals on this field and not a team out there working. It's not a well-constructed team. It's a team that lacks depth. It's also a team, I'm going to say, Mark, that lacks a lot of character, too. You don't have that veteran leadership of years past that when the going gets tough, the Jets get going. They start to splinter in these situations. So are they a 6-5 team? Absolutely, because they're not playing as a team. They're playing as individuals. And
certainly they got a lot of help yesterday from the Stevie Johnson touchdown celebration for Buffalo.
Oh, absolutely. And, pardon the puns, but he shot himself in the foot on that one. I mean, going out there, mocking Plaxico Burress the way he did, getting the penalty, the failed squib kick, giving the Jets fantastic field position. And let's give Marc Sanchez some credit. I've been ripping on him for the past few minutes. He stepped up there, 4 plays, got the ball into the end zone to Burress. But I really think that that's going to be the type of play that seasons hinge on. if the Jets end up getting the 5th or 6th seed in the wild card, it's going to be because of that play, and it's going to cost Buffalo a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, but they were reeling, and you look at it, they were still leading that game late. Kristian. I mean, listen. I don't like the celebration by Stevie Johnson at all. I'm not making excuses for him, but when your team has a lead late in a game and you have an opportunity to win it, I can't go back to something in the first half. Kristian.
No, but I mean that definitely deflated them. They went from going 14-7 up at halftime to now being tied with the Jets, and that gave the Jets everything that went wrong in that first half. They only had the one good scoring drive up to that point. Everything else was basically 3-and-outs, Marc. So you give the Jets a lifeline, they're able to even things up and make the first half like it's a 0-0 game. All of a sudden, you take away any of the momentum. The Bills get the ball back, and because of the way their offense is predicated, it's long, systematic drives. They're not able to put the dagger in there on the Jets. The Jets hang around, they get that last drive, and that proved to be all the difference. Buffalo is not going to make the playoffs this year, and they're going to have Stevie Johnson to blame for it.
Kristian, if you look at this Jet team, what's the biggest thing you take out of their victory on Sunday?
Well, I do think that they have some character. I think they have some backbone. But the one thing I'm looking at is the fact that they can run the ball on a lot of teams in the NFL. When they go down to Washington next Sunday and they play the Redskins, they have to run the ball. They can't rely on their wide receivers. Holmes had some bad drops. Burris still isn't getting the separation you want to see. Keller's prone to bad drops and poor communication with Sanchez. They have to run the ball on the Redskins. Next week they need to run the ball. Week after that, they need to run the ball consistently. They need to get Sean Green going. Once they get LaDainian Tomlinson coming in, they then have another option in the backfield. Run the ball, ground and pound. That's going to be the way the Jets can rattle off 6 wins.
You think they can get those?
They have the talent to do it. Are they going to come together now that their back's against the wall? They have no choice to do it. I mean, 4-6 in 2009, they end up making the wild card. This team can do it, and if there's any coach in the NFL that can rally his troops at a moment like this, it's Rex Ryan.
All right, what about the criticism of Schottenheimer? You think deserved, Kristian?
Not only is it deserved, I don't think that there could have been worse timing for the contract extension to come out. The news of that last week saying that Schottenheimer and Patton both getting contract extensions. Here's someone who hasn't changed his game plan now for how many years with the Jets, still goes with the same types of plays, relies, like you said, too much on trick plays, and really hasn't gotten this offense in sync and hasn't proven to be able to adapt. I look at that Week 4 loss in Baltimore, Marc, and I see a team that just had no answer for what the Ravens were doing. It was consistently, three-step drop, not giving Sanchez any kind of time. No adjustments were made, and it was probably their worst loss of the year. I've never seen a quarterback take a beating like that ever in an NFL game. Sanchez hung in there, and Schottenheimer gave him no support whatsoever.
No, you're right about that. And, you could also look at the head coach, a little bit of a regression this year as well, Kristian.
Without a doubt. I think the biggest fault with Rex Ryan is that he talks his players up too much. There's a fine line between being a player coach and being someone who always puts a positive spin on things, takes that party line, talks to the press conference. Last year it was always kind of the running joke that whoever he mentioned was the best at their position in the NFL. Wayne Hunter, best backup right tackle in the NFL. John Connor, best backup fullback. That's all well and good, but at the same time, you need to light a fire under these guys' tails. Rex did that to a certain extent this week by getting Marc Brunell into the practice, getting some snaps with the first team. He got Sanchez a little hot and bothered in practice. I think Rex needs to take that next step, not necessarily criticize, not tear apart the guys in the media, but be honest and forthright. Yeah, you know what? Mark Sanchez has to improve. You know what, Wayne Hunter, we love you, but you got to play better. These guys need to hear that. There needs to be some criticism publicly, or else they don't get pushed to perform.
Kristian, 2 more before I let you go. Number 1, were you surprised at how many times the Bills attacked Revis on Sunday?
Oh, without a doubt. And Stevie Johnson, made him pay. We're talking about 7 catches, 13 attempts, and the only reason why he didn't have more catches is because he dropped them on his own, and Jim Leonard made a great play in the secondary late in the game. Very surprised by it, but Revis was also giving an awful lot of respect and an awful lot of cushion to Stevie Johnson. I've never seen him do that with Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, Wes Welker, anyone else he's faced up against, there seems to be a little bit of an intimidation factor right now that Stevie has with Darrell.
Yeah, I don't know about. I just think. Listen, maybe it tells you a little bit about Revis here. That you can attack him a little bit if you're smart with your throws. If you put him in the spot that you need to do, that you can go out there and make completions and look at Revis's side and not just ignore it the entire game, Kristian.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Stevie Johnson is cocky enough, but he also has the guns enough, and he's got the horses in this race that he can go out there and make Revis pay if Revis makes a mistake. And there's this idea in the NFL right now that there's the Revis rules. Revis gets away with certain kinds of plays. And Stevie Johnson went out there on Sunday and said, you know what? I don't care what you're going to do to me. I'm a big enough player. I'm a strong enough player. I'm going to get my separation. And when you have a cerebral quarterback like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who may not make the best throws but has the timing down, you can attack Darrell Revis and you can make him pay.
All right, Kristian, final one. I mean, if the Jets, and they're still right there, I mean, on the outside looking in, but, this is a wide-open AFC. I mean, if I'm, in a team for a contention for a wild card spot, divisional crown, as long as you get in, you've got a shot to make a serious run here in the AFC.
Oh, without a doubt. And if the Jets play, let's say, in Pittsburgh or Baltimore, they have plenty of motivation. The Steelers with the AFC Championship game last year, the Ravens with the Week 4 loss. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how things kind of shake out in the AFC, especially with Matt Leinert's injury down in Houston. I mean, what are they on, quarterback number 7 down there?
Sure.
That's really going to impact things and impact how things shake out. We're seeing San Diego in a tailspin right now. I'm not sold on the Bengals sticking around a whole lot longer. I do think that their receiving core is suspect, and we're going to see that just kind of towards this part of the season now when they need to be able to run the ball. They can't do that effectively week in, week out. I think one of the wild card spots is the Jets to lose at this point, and I do give credit to Rex Ryan that he has this team believing that they can now go out there and win 5 more games. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty, but I think it's the Jets to lose.
Kristian Dyer covers the Jets for Metro New York and contributes to Yahoo Sports, also WFAN.com. Thanks a lot, Kristian. Great job, man.
Marc, appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Malusis with you right here on The Fan on this Monday morning. We'll get back to your busy calls at 877-337-6666. After the update, here's Harris Allen.